any but methamphetamine. So street deals prevented, 3.2 million street level deals prevented, massive public safety impact in Australia. And then we look at Australia arrest, 3 suspects charged in Australia, potential maximum penalty, life imprisonment. And then we look at the Ghana arrest, lead suspect, alleged ringleader arrested by NACOG, came after 3-month investigation. If we look at the procedures skipped, NACOG reports indicate established export procedures were not followed. So there was serious compliance breach, which again raises question about Ghana's biggest border security threat. Is it inside corruption? And then we have the systems failure point. Export passed through multiple clearance stages undetected. Raises questions across institutions. Because if you look at the nature of our ports, we have several security agencies positioned there to ensure compliance and ensure that some of these things don't happen. So there was a systems failure along the lines, hence where we find ourselves. And then the response nature as well. Ghana's response was reactive, not proactive. Australia's interception prompted action. And we look at the revenue at risk. Potential proceeds in Ghana, if undetected, is huge. Funds organized crime, corruption and violence, institutional chain as well. We look at the exporter freight, customs, to scanner, to port, to shipping. So this is the process. The exporter, the freight company, the customs, the scanner, the port, shipping. So many touch points, many risks, but most importantly,
many points to influence
exports
as well.
pass through multiple clearance stages undetected. And then we also look at insider corruption risk. Insider facilitation can bypass controls. Biggest long-term threat to borders. And if we look at the transparency gap as well, we see that no public list of officers questioned or disciplined. Accountability remains incomplete. So now the big question is, who allowed the shipment of 320 kilograms of methamphetamine to pass through Ghana's export system without the required checks?
So that's a big question, which we're going to be putting to our guests who are joining us in the studio as well this morning for a conversation as well. But Kay, thank you very much. That's a ledger of facts which lends us kindly into the big conversations here for you on the 3FM Sunrise. It's one of the many questions we'll be seeking to answer, as well as finding a bit more in terms of an understanding as to the latest Auditor General's report and the Council of State cautioning Parliament against a dual citizenship bill, and then final thoughts as well as to the Ramaphosa incident and his trip to Ghana, which has been postponed. My guests are in the studio with me. This is the 3FM Sunrise. Let's get into the big conversations right now.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM. The big conversation on 3FM Sunrise.
I'm glad to say I've been joined in studio by a number of respected persons. Richard Gyamfi is a member of the NPP's National Communications team. Has joined me in studio this morning for a conversation. Richard, good morning to you. I trust at all as well.
Yeah, very good. How are you, my brother?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Thank you as well for asking. Bernard Mona is a political commentator, was flag bearer of the PNC in the 2024 elections as well. Mr. Mona is joining us in studio as well. He's been in the Ghanaian political space for a very long time. Mr. Mona, good morning to you. I trust at all as well.
Good morning. Why am I a political commentator?
No, that's why I said you are
I am the leader of the People's National Convention. Why are you shy?
No, I'm just adding that. I'm not taking that away from. I actually laid the premise that
Janfi and all others are also politically commentating.
Yes.
So why am
I was quite confused how they describe you.
I am the leader of the PNC, and I think that it would be fair to sit there.
It is fair to sit there.
Political commentating belongs to all of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So is Ebo Bachman, who is the Deputy Director of Communications.
Bookman.
Also in the studio with us. Ebo, yeah, today I decided to do a small fancy to set. Yes, Matthias Alagbo is a member of the NDC's communications team. He will join us as well pretty shortly. But gentlemen, the big conversation, one that we're starting with after the ledger of fact which has been shared with us, is how $208 million worth of meth left the shores of this country to Australia. The Interior Minister yesterday, appearing before the Government Assurance Committee, made some interesting remarks to suggest that there are insiders and also that persons in government are being questioned in relation to this development. There's a premise as well, a context, important context perhaps, that I want to add, that since January 7, 2025, off the top of my head, there's been about 5 drug busts, separate incidents, some involving cocaine, heroin, and others. I think Crosby walked us to a number of them. Even in this year, somewhere in March, there was a cocaine bust story around the Kotoka International Airport as well. And so all of that, as proper context, raises significant concerns as to whether or not the country is back as a transit point and bad name in terms of everything that happens in terms of drugs. Richard, I want to start with you and have you come in for me on that one.
Thank you, my brother. And I want to say good morning to your cherished listeners and my senior colleagues here. One former presidential candidate.
Yes, presidential candidate.
I want to be clear that it's former, because you may never know when people put up challenge to him in the next polls. And also,
he's open to it.
It's normal.
and the fact that today is my first time here, I was supposed to be here 10 days ago, and unfortunately, I was flooded out, so I couldn't make it. And my commiserations and sincere empathy towards those people who were affected. I know that's not a question, but 10 days after such a tragedy, it is quite disappointing. If you want to quantify the response from government, is really crass incompetence, insensitive, and in a nutshell, arrogance towards the plight of the people. My utmost worry is currently, if you go to Adabraka, if you go to Odona, if you go to Elang in Sotium, Enyasotium, there's filth everywhere. And our kids are still playing on the streets. They are playing football. They are touching the football that's getting into the gutters. They're coming home and eating. And there's this fear of pestilence that is clouding the cities that were affected. Till date, we haven't seen any profound intervention from government, and it's really, really sad. So I'll quickly move on to what you've just asked. Illicit drugs have become a global issue. I think a couple of weeks ago, there was a day where they marked for international prevention of drug abuse and illicit trafficking. United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, just 2025 report, paints a really gloomy picture that in 2023 alone, that year alone, we had over 316 million people taking drugs for the first time. And this is quite serious because for a single year, we are yet to get the report for 2025. A single year, new people who are entering into the drug business and also testing it for the first time was about 316 million. It goes on. There's another group, Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime. And theirs is really worrying that on the streets of Europe right now, 30% of the cocaine that are being shared or are being transacted in Europe actually pass through West Africa. And guess what? The center of corridor of this transit of illicit drugs is Ghana, unfortunately. And it becomes...
That's according to the report.
According to the report. Now, just 2 weeks ago, we had the NACOD boss, I think Brigadier something, Brigadier... sorry? Yes, Brigadier General Mante. He was actually crying out for help, saying that he has accepted that Ghana has become the transit for illegal drug trafficking. However, there is more serious threat to our national security, to our human resources, that in as much as we are transiting these drugs illegally out of this country, there's also reports that suggest that young people have now entered into the frame of consuming these illicit drugs in the country. And to blow your mind, the latest report from Kofi Annan Peace, I've forgotten the full name of that. Their report is even damning that they conducted a research in some hotspots that are really peculiar when it comes to drug usage. And interestingly, I live in Adenta, and my neighbors were mentioned that in Medina right now, if you take people of age between 18 to 35, 49% of them are actually using drugs. So it tells you that if you go to some places, if you see two young men or young women, the likelihood that one is into drugs, and this is a national security threat. I hope you agree with me. 92.7. Now, what are the consequences? The huge chunk of our workforce is the youth. And therefore, if we are not managing this situation well, the consequences is that this country is going to become porous. And your previous co-host was suggesting the scale at which this meth was organized can only be done by cartels. So Ghana then becomes a safe haven for cartels. And when cartels find safe houses, they find this place as safe haven, there are other severe consequences that is going to happen to us. Number one, violence. We know how these guys operate in Mexico, Colombia, El Salvador, and all those places. It will make this country ungovernable.
Right.
Violence and corruption. There is clear evidence that there's been inside collaboration in terms of how this managed to get from Ghana to Australia. Why so? Because this brings a lot of money. Money laundering is second nature, and they will bribe people in high places. What is even intriguing is that they can also infiltrate our security system or our security apparatus because the money is there. Now, the national consequence is that we are going to, and we are facing it, because from the reports that I gave you, it is clear that huge nations, the first world countries, so-called first world countries, are looking at us very carefully. And one of the, in diplomatic terms, is called pressure to comply. 92.7. Pressure to comply is when other nations who feel that they are mightier than you will interfere in your security details. An example is when the DEA, drug enforcement agencies in other countries, especially Interpol and FBI, will then come into your jurisdiction and conduct operations. You can't say anything.
Because your security would have been lax.
Exactly. And that is what we are facing right now. If you reference Abu Trika, Data Boot, and other
such instances of extradition,
it is a clear pressure to comply situations.
Right.
But let me caution government here. July 2025, Honorable Intim Fojo in Parliament questioned the intrusive scanners, selective intrusive scanners in our ports and airports were not working. July 2025, it's been 12 months now. And so it beggars believe that we are here discussing this because it was a no-brainer that if these essential equipment that are supposed to check these illicit drugs passing through our ports to other nations, then clearly there are people that need to be questioned. And so I do not take the interior minister's comments that there are government officials that are corroborating in this. Name them. Where is the Attorney General? If it was to be the other side, he would have granted press conference.
The claim is that investigations are ongoing and so the persons are not being named.
My brother, is it the first time that investigations are going, that the Attorney General and the authorities in this government have granted press conferences? And even though we know that formatively you are innocent until proven guilty, but check the chronological records of these governments.
Right.
They pronounce you guilty even before you are arraigned before court. And that is my concern.
Richard, thank you. Let me come to Mr. Mona on this subject matter as to if we shouldn't be getting names even as investigations continue, and this should be treated a bit more seriously, because the suggestion is that as at last year, caution was given that some certain scanners were not working. And so if action was taken in that regard, we will not be here possibly today.
Good morning to you, to Jamfi, and to Bookman, and to our other colleague. I'm sure he will be listening while he's on his way here. It is like we keep fetching water into a basket, and we expect that water to stay for us to utilize. So anytime we go to the stream and we fetch the water, by the time we get to our destination, the basket is empty. Then we go back, we fetch water, we get back, the basket is empty. The more we do this, it exposes our idiocy. Clearly, this is not the first time our nation is embroiled in issues about drugs and drug-related buses. In Ghana, on the third or fourth floor at the police headquarters, 77 parcels of cocaine got missing. We are talking about the police headquarters. And that is a very tight security area. For the records, you are not permitted to pass certain boundaries within the police with your vehicle. You must be so special to be allowed to get closer with your vehicle. There is a general parking lot that you will be allowed to park. Beyond that, the rest of the journey is to be done on foot.
They'll be stopping you and be asking
and then
questions.
They will check you. They will frisk you. Yet 77 parcels got missing at the very top of our security. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? We are in this country where cocaine and other substances that are busted all of a sudden turn into Fla Konkonte. How many of such can we count? By the time they are exhibited in court, the lawyers will come and say, my lord, this is not cocaine. Let's test it. They will take it and return and say, this is Konkonte. And the suspects are freed. I recall one time one of the directors of operations, Director General of Operations of the Police Service, says that he goes out there to arrest criminals. The criminals bring everything. He declines. He goes after them, get them arrested, and then the courts will set them free. He will go on retirement. And when he goes on retirement, he will not have the security to protect him. What do you think the criminals will do to him? For busting them? For exposing them? And nearly causing the downfall of their empires. So is the system that we operate. That somehow some institutions have found themselves freeing these criminals. And you want somebody to go and put his neck. And I recall that security, possibly for fear that now he's on retirement, for fear that I will expose him more. I'm sure all of us know him. He's on retirement today. And I'm sure he's afraid of his life, as he pointed out when he was in the service. That look, in the 77 parcels of cocaine, I was central. People felt that their kingdoms were being crushed. In the end, they were freed. But they will not forgive
the person who
caused their arrest. Because all of us know that the drug world is a very dangerous and widely connected. And so if you are not careful, whilst you are busting drugs here, somebody in America and other places, we've seen people come to Ghana, go into entertainment center, shoot people, pum, they are gone. When you investigate, they were into drugs and they suspect that the person was going to leak. They will come, shoot the person and go. And up to date, we've not been able to trace such.
92.7.
That should be the challenge that we all face. And so, yes, there may be people that will just allow these things to go because they also fear for their lives and that of their families.
The system is not doing well.
The system is not doing anything to protect them. And in the end, we will come and go through our authorities system of courts. You come, they will defer, they will postpone, they will adjourn, they will do anything that they want to do. Eventually, these persons are left off. But the people who stood for integrity, it is they who are going to suffer. And for me, that is where we should be looking at. Why are these things persistent? Despite the many exposures that we have overcome. And so that is my first point. The second point that I want to establish is, do we produce
methamphetamine? No, we don't
produce it here.
We don't produce it.
Where did it come from? Why is it being seen as it's originated from Ghana by the Australian authorities? Certainly it is not produced in Ghana. We don't have the capacity to do so.
At least
so it came from somewhere into Ghana. Where did it come from? How come that those authorities failed to get to the bottom, to arrest, to see, and yet it got to Ghana? And when it left Ghana, Ghana now becomes the source from where this thing is coming from. And some people somewhere wants to bastardize Ghana as being the dungeon for drugs. I don't take that easily, because if we are producing it in Ghana as we produce cassava, we produce yam, and then it is busted, and we are exporting it, yes, then we have a challenge. But these things came from somewhere. It eluded every other security network and got to Ghana. And of course, from Ghana, we can say it's an oversight. But you see, all of us know how even the police do their checks. When we all go out now, 4 of us driving the separate vehicles, not all of us will the police stop.
Depending on the car you're driving, I'll arrest.
Yeah. You understand? It's not all of us that the police will stop. They may stop Jamfi or Bachman because their cars may look more plush than mine.
Yeah.
They may stop mine because it looks smoky.
Yeah.
And allow the rest to pass. It doesn't mean that they are not checking. They are checking. But those that have passed, what is inside? So they can't stop every vehicle. Right. In similar vein, at our various spots, they will do some spot checks. And just giving you a personal example, I don't want to disclose. I'm sure that the security knows what I'm talking about. On the way to I saw a G-Wagon. Is it G-Wagon? Yes. Then all of a sudden, as it was going, the police pulled out, surrounded the vehicle. The young men that came out, G-Wagon, they opened the car and they found charcoal.
92.7.
And when they opened the charcoal, they found some substances there. The security know what I'm talking about. This is just less than a week.
And it was actually, the meth was in charcoal as well.
Do you understand? They found charcoal in G-Wagon, and when they cut the charcoal open, then they found some substances inside the charcoal.
Why charcoal? That should be a very good question to ask.
Do you understand? So clearly, you see the kind of car I'm talking about. How many people are able to obtain it? And so you must be of a certain class to have it. If it was not for tip-off, I'm not sure that the police would have been able to apprehend those people.
Yeah.
I've not come across that story in the news yet. This story I'm talking about, I've not come across it in the news yet. Yet it happened just a week ago. So my conclusion is that we have a challenge. One, Ghana doesn't produce cocaine, nor heroin. Ghana doesn't produce methamphetamine, and yet they are in Ghana. How did they get here? Surely they came through some sources. Those sources, how was it that we're not able to apprehend them? And when now they left Ghana and get to Australia, then the Australians are tracing it and say it's from Ghana. No, that is not the trail. It must be trailed and traced
back to
where it originated from before it came to Ghana.
Right. Ebo, come in for me on this, and
my colleagues have said much.
Why would Kabila come later and say we should move for him?
Ebo, proceed from you.
3FM 92.7.
You see, the issue is that the security architecture of every nation is only as strong as its weak link or weakest link. You see, these traffickers, one thing they do is that they always look out for weaknesses in a security system and they exploit it. That's all that they do. That's why, as we speak, one of the major headaches of American government is dealing with the issue of drugs. They will always look out for weaknesses in your security systems, and once they find that weakness, they will exploit it. And that's what they do. Because they know they can easily bribe people. So long as we are running a system that involves human beings who have that penchant to be rich and to live a good life, these things will continue. I'm telling you. NACOC has done a good job over the years. But I'm telling you,
as the hunter keeps shooting without missing, the birds will always fly without perching. It is always difficult to deal with these people because of the human involvement. With that said, I think what we need to do is to improve our technology, screening technology, and other technology that we use at our ports. And as much as possible, reduce the human involvement. That is the only way out. You see, you can't stop it completely. But let me also tell you this. Sometimes, before one is busted, they've allowed about 3 to go through.
3FM.
That's what they do. That's what the security people do. Before they will arrest you as a trafficker, probably the first time you were going, because they didn't know the source, they didn't know your destination.
Obviously, for investigation purposes.
So they will allow you to go through.
I think what we've been even told was that in Australia, they allowed the meth to be cleared from the ports all the way to the warehouse before they picked them up. So they traced and tracked
that's what
them
they do.
All the way through.
That's what they do. And it's really difficult to deal with these people. Because let me tell you, they are very dangerous people. They have the money, they have the means, they can kill. They can do whatever, how do you call it?
Contract killings and
I mean,
but wouldn't that also be us throwing our arms up in despair?
No,
that these people are powerful and they can do whatever
you knowing who they are and what they do should rather equip you to do the right thing. That is why we need to intensify our intelligence gathering as a nation. Those that we recruit to the intelligence unit of our security system, you must make sure the right people are recruited. And those that we also employ to man these scanning machines should be people of a certain character. I mean, these things have gone on over the years. It's only when they are caught that we become aware of. But when they go through, nobody hears about it. It is important as much as possible. In dealing with corruption, this is one area we need to look at. Pay more attention, or much attention, to ensure that people who allow some of these things to go through
3FM
and also come in, go out and come in, must be dealt with. Richard Jemfi says something which is quite significant. The issue of when it passes through Ghana, at least a certain quantity will be left here. And that is why our youth also become vulnerable. They get hooked to it, and whether we like it or not, we are destroying the future human resource of the nation. So it is very important. I'm excited. They said some people have been busted.
Yeah, there's been a number of arrests. Yes, I think Mr. Mona is even mentioning some arrests as well being made. Yesterday, was it 2 days ago, I caught wind of some security bust somewhere. I'm not too sure what it was about, but there were a number of officials who were engaged in some activity.
What we don't want to see or hear is the way those that happened in the past were handled. You hear about it, then suddenly you all go quiet on it because of the way they're able to control the system with what they have. We want to follow this one through to its logical conclusion.
Also because of the international dimension, right? That puts a bit more pressure on us.
And so, yes, let's do what we are supposed to do as a nation. This is not the first time we've arrested people. People have been arrested in relation to drugs. The question is, what have you done internally to ensure that Ghana doesn't become a transit point? It doesn't give us a good image out there. And so whatever that we will do to stop it, let's do and stop. It doesn't work out for us.
Matthias, good morning to you. He's a member of the NDC's communication team. You just joined us. You didn't come earlier, so Mr. Mona was asking why he had to make room for you. But I trust that all is well with you.
I am well, except that I suffered a battery breakdown, so that's what actually delayed my coming. But apart from that, I'm hailing hearty.
92.7.
Reset of Ghana is in progress.
Reset with your battery.
That's what his battery
His battery got reset. You say research. It will beg the question as to the ports as well, whether a research is happening and why drugs are coming in, because it didn't come out of the earth from Ghana before it went to Australia. It came in first before it went away. And there's been a number of such incidents, at least since President Mahama took office. We've had Reverend Ntim Fojo, the Honourable Member of Parliament, raise a number of questions. Richard Jemfi has even mentioned specific details as to scanning equipment which were not working. And now we're told some government officials may have been involved in this Australia one, which is bringing international embarrassment to the country as well.
My brother, let me use the opportunity to say a blessed morning to all our cherished listeners, and then also to the teaming actors within the NDC that are supervising our ongoing branch elections across the country. So far, I would say everything is going on very well, and we appreciate their job. And also, let me quickly just delve into this matter. I think that every Ghanaian should be concerned about what has happened or the latest development, because it certainly touches on our national security and our international reputation. Because in time past, I think in the era of President Kufuor in particular, we got to a point where our international reputation with regard to drug, other facilitating or engaging in drug trafficking and all that kind of thing became so bad that state officials somehow were, subjected to searches at airports, in the international system. That was quite embarrassing. But I think that we've turned the corner, and our reputation currently in the international system has been one of a remarkable one because of the measures that have been put in place. And I have to give warmly commend His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama for what he has done over the period, because I think NACOC has been well strengthened in terms of its operational capacity. Our cooperation with the international systems in fighting drugs has been strengthened quite solidly. And so I think that what has just happened is a blip. But what is quite remarkable about this is the fact that under the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, you will not be shouldered. And that is why I'm happy listening to the Interior Minister that swift investigations are ongoing and people have been picked up. And, whilst coming, I was really enjoying the presentations by the leader of the PNC. Let me help to re-establish that he is the leader of the PNC.
Absolutely.
Mr. Bernard Mona, more or less highlighting the fact that arrests have been made. We are all looking up to the judiciary to see, because the police can do their job. The investigating arms of the state can do their job. But when the people have been presented before court, I think the Ghanaian people would like to see justice being done. That said, we cannot ignore it. And back to my first comment that we should be concerned, because if you look, I very much agree with one earlier speaker that said that this is not any petty, more or less like a trafficking. It's something that involves a multi-million dollar, value worth of drugs. Should tell you that this are work of cartels. And the fact that there's so much money involved give me the fear that they could possibly exploit weaknesses in our security systems. I've heard the Interior Minister said we have up to date, we have very current equipment, detection systems at the airport, at the port of entry, Tama Port and everywhere else. So the question will be, how were we not able to detect all this? And that should give you reason to believe of some level of international cooperation with regard to the cartel business, because it did not originate from here, like Bernard has said. And so probably some cartels are working with their local actors in Ghana, and probably somebody who's supposed to be doing his job either sleep on the job or has been compromised in a way. And I believe that the investigation should be able to unravel all this, and the reputation of Ghana should not go 1 inch down. And I think that we can maintain as a result of the decisive action of government in terms of prosecuting anybody that is found culpable. So there's no doubt at all that we must all be concerned, because the reputation of our country is concerned, the image of our country is concerned, and somebody said that pieces of those or quantity of them will be left behind. This morning, while I was preparing to come here, I watched a video of a young guy from my region. That's my heart. It breaks my heart. Very intelligent guy, went back to school, trying to educate that, look at how I've messed myself up through drug use, and I just want rehabilitation. And you ask yourself, and he said, for every morning by 6 a.m., you would have used about 100 Ghana cedis worth of drug already. And how do you fund that? By trading in scraps. That is just at this level. And those who are engaging in armed robbery, killing people, are just these desperate drug users in town that want to more or less access their next fix. And these are people who level of the compassion has left them because of their exposure to these hard drugs. And I think that His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, and then his government will not sit aloof to let Ghana go back into this path.
The question is if we will get the full details and full disclosures as to persons who played a role in this, and for it not to be hashed, because we've seen in times past, I don't recall readily off the top of my head, almost all the big name busts and persons whose names are published, they are arrested outside. Naile Ametefe, he was arrested outside before NACOG went in to seize property and all of that. The big question is, with the minister telling us there are possible government linkages, are we to see these individuals named possibly and courses of action taken such that, like Ms. Amona made reference to, it gives persons of integrity a foundation to want to report and come forward with similar such notices?
Where there has been challenges in time past as far as our history as a nation is concerned, I think I'm in a comfortable place to provide that rock, iron-clad assurances that under the government of President Mahama, no soul will be saved. I mean, in terms of if you are found to be culpable, I'm not sure nobody will be protected, because the record has been there. Not only under his government, where people who have been tagged to be corrupt actually tried in law courts. They were actually convicted, and people are serving their term, and or have served their term. And I believe that President Mahama will not move an inch from that track record, because we cannot, on the basis of protecting one individual, drag the image and reputation of this country into the mud, or be seen in the international system as though, as a government or as a country, we are back to the days of darkness, where we want to be opaque in how these things are handled. What matters, though, is when the investigations are completed and some prima facie cases are established, and there's certainty and clarity of the involvement of people, I think it is fair that the names will certainly come out, and then those people will find their day in court. I mean, as part of our security and prosecutorial architecture is concerned.
Right. I'm just going to come finally quickly, because I see, Richard, you have a few comments in that regard as well, and then I'll go for this quick break. When we return, then we switch lanes into Auditor General.
I'm just surprised that whenever we are discussing issues, national issues, there's always the tendency for my brother from the other side to politicize and shower undeserving praises on President John Dramani Mahama. My brother, since John Dramani Mahama became president, 18 months, there's not a single input in terms of equipment at the port. Zero. When Intim Fojo, Reverend Intim Fojo made that pronouncement on the floor of Parliament, Minister of Interior accepted that, yes, these equipment are defective. I can say on authority that today the equipment are still defective. And I mean the intrusive defective scans. Now, one of the issues is also that whenever government changes hands, there's this tendency to clear everybody irrespective of your
Standing
skills,
and, everything.
your understanding, your intellectual property. I mean, what you've learned so far in that particular environment is totally negligible by the new government. So they sack everybody and bring in, there's this mantra we say, job for the boys. So now, if you go to our entry points, it is so cumbersome, especially the airport. For every stage, a gentleman or a lady will call you, let me see your passport. Then you move on, let me see. When there is that cumbersome, uncoordinated security scheduling in our entry points, it breeds these things that people are able to traffic these drugs through. And so it is really disappointing. Since we've taken 3 submissions, everybody seems to be giving objective recommendations to government, only for my brother to come here and start showering praises on John Dramani Mahama. If we really want to solve this issue, like Benamona said, it is agreed that meth is not being produced here. But from the report I gave you, the UN report, the Transnational Organization Against Crime, even our local research from Kofi Annan tells you that the worrying, and Ghana is becoming the hub for transit. I think we've all agreed that we are not producing it here. But the problem is that we are becoming renowned for transit of these illegal drugs. And so if you come here and say that President Mahama this, President Mahama that, I mean, I think we should discuss these issues objectively with national interest at heart rather than parochial partisan interest.
Matthias, I suspect you want to chip in briefly.
I just want to.
You want me to?
I just want to assure him. I'm quite objective when I say I commend President Mahama. See, the Chinese built a Great Wall, but that Great Wall was penetrated so many times. They were attacked, irrespective of that Great Wall, just because of those who manned the gates. Okay, if you look at someone like General Mante, who's currently heads the NACOC control. So when we are talking about, it's not just the equipment. The equipments are there. I'm not sure, like you rightly said, you don't expect that when President Mahama took office, we should remove people who have been trained, sent on courses that were manning those equipment, or we should equally remove even the machines. We couldn't remove them because they are state assets and that they are still useful, so they are there, okay. But the personnel, even the personnel that are currently heading those institutions are people of utmost integrity, people who you can't bribe. But like we rightly said, when these international drug cartels are after you, you have to, sit up, because the weaknesses of man can always be exploited. Are you getting me? And for the fact that some security personnel is sitting there and then they come and promise you $200,000 if you can just look away, perhaps the investigations will eventually lead us there. Right. That you get to know that maybe the one who even let go of that does not even know the value of what is at stake, and probably you'll be wondering if perhaps it comes out about what was the motivation, what was the reward for letting that go. And I can assure you, with what I know President Mahama to be, nobody will be shielded, and that is what comforts me, and every Ghanaian should be assured of that. And I'm not trying to say, of course, we had a past history that wasn't a very good one, and I think that you can only discuss the presence when you're able to trace well back into history. So my brother should not be worried at all about that.
But I have this to say, but Chigenfi, you also have to be fair that even your introduction, when you started this conversation today, your introduction was purely politics. When you addressed the issue of the flooding. I mean, your approach was purely political. Of course, we are discussing politics as well. So if somebody had decided to praise his president for what he has done, and you think the president has not done enough, you can also go your tangent. So, but I don't think you have to accuse the person for going the way.
And then I just want to remind him of the issue of the flood, okay?
As for the flood,
He mentioned
it is clear leadership deficiency.
We are not talking floods because there are a host of other matters. Let me take this break.
As for the flood, if you have to go into the flood issue,
then when I return, then we'll do a bit more. This is a 3FM Sunrise. Stay with us. Just a quick break, right? A quick break. We'll return and then we'll get into other matters for you.
The Electoral Commission has reiterated its commitment to organizing free and fair elections this December.
How's your week treating you? I'm here to serve you great music tidbits for your at-work listening pleasure.
Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari. Our Father, who art in Zion, Kanamawe, Kanamawe, Kanamawe. Otonodo!
In the silence, something was growing. The journey continues. The calm before the storm.
Into some other matters for you here on the big conversation. We're going to talk the Auditor General's report, and so will we as well speak to the Council of State's letter to Parliament considering the dual citizenships bill. That's where I want us to start from before we get into Auditor General, because that's been a raging debate whether we allow persons who wield dual citizenship into specific positions in this country. There are two enactments, the Citizenships Act and then the Chapter 8 of the Constitution as was amended in 96, which barred dual citizens or persons who are believed to owe allegiance to other countries from holding positions. But after an imprisonment of a former member of parliament, Adamusa Kande, and the near imprisonment of another in Richard Jachi Kwesin, there's been a private member's bill from both sides of the House seeking to have a legislation which will amend that portion of our laws. There's been great debate, but now the Council of States says Parliament should hasten slowly on that front. I want to start with Ms. Amona on this. The fear has always been what could be if we allow such persons hold the position. Now the Council of State appears to be throwing in their side of the argument as well. Do we still need to proceed on this tangent?
It is Malcolm X who says that coffee loses its essence when it is mixed with milk. It's no more black and cannot continue to carry the values of coffee. And so, in similar vein, you cannot want to be a Ghanaian and still want to hold the nationality of a Beninois or Togo or the United Kingdom or the United States or any other country. You are Ghanaian, you are a Ghanaian. You should be proud of that identity than to divide your identity your loyalty, and above all, your commitment.
3FM
You see,
92.7.
recent developments should even tell us that it's not worth it. The reason why Ken Ofori-Atta struggled a bit in the United States is that he was not a citizen of the United States. He could have easily acquired the citizenship of the United States, given the portfolio of Minister for Finance, and when he leaves Ghana, he is an American. And when he is in America, he is not a Ghanaian. As simple as that. So there is the danger. There are many professionals I've listened to, and last night I read one from one of my most respected brothers, who said that all remittances, people who contribute money, should stop sending money to Ghana unless the law is passed, and ended up by saying good night. I couldn't come publicly to tell him your night will be forever, but I didn't agree with him, because there are many people who will maintain their nationality irrespective of how long they have lived. I stand for correction. Was Kofi Annan any citizen of any country?
I don't really. It's not on record to have had any.
He, from day one till the end, has maintained his Ghanaian nationality, despite the many or several years of working outside Ghana, working with the international institutions. His identity as Ghanaian was never compromised. It didn't deny him opportunities. He got to the highest diplomatic levels in the world.
3FM
He was a Ghanaian.
92.7.
There are many. It is only those who feel that there are some opportunities in being other countries' nationals, and that they don't want to miss those opportunities. So you can go. Be an American, be an Australian, be a British. Don't come and force us to pass laws that will permit you to be a citizen of our one country and still hold our citizenship.
The argument is that you're losing out on valuable skills, persons who've attained valuable skills who can contribute greatly towards the.
So if you want to be a
country.
Ghanaian, you are a Ghanaian. There are Ghanaians who are great. The fact that you decided to go and become American means that you don't cherish even your heritage. You don't. Chief, some ones of us also got similar opportunities. But our pride will not permit us to go and subordinate where we come from. And I'm sure it's on record that at any given opportunity, I'll tell you and identify myself as somebody from Sankana. Do you know Sankana?
I'm yet to be there.
Backman, do you know Sankana?
Take me there one of these.
Kabila, you know Sankana? Jamfi, do you know Sankana? How many people know Sankana? When you ask me where you from, I'm saying I'm from Sankana. My mighty village. If you want, I call it the United States of Sankana. Do you understand? That is where I come from. Yet those who have managed to come to Sankana will be shocked at the kind of village that I am always proud about. That is who I am. So I take strength in my origins and not in the little opportunities that will be thrown at me. I could have become a German, but I declined. And so I don't see why we should even contemplate. Just because our laws are so flexible that a dual national is permitted to come and go to parliament. And after they have gone to parliament, of course, they come back with some euros, some yen, some yuan, some dollars. When they come and they convert it, it becomes huge money. They are able to meander their way through our democratic systems to enter into parliament.
Right.
And with that And those numbers, we are beginning to say, let's permit them. If you want, denounce your citizenship of that country. Let's be assured of your full allegiance and commitment to our nation, and let's grant you that. Otherwise, people will come, they will earn positions, and it is not only, they are thinking about the valuable expertise they have, but they are not thinking about the likes of the Kenofurata who will come and milk us and then run out and tell you that, well, I've dropped my Ghana passport. I am now an American. And then the laws of America would continue to protect their citizens. What will you do in such instances?
I'll come to Ebo. The fear is, and I see you agree a lot with what Ms. Amona is saying, that, look, if you want to be president...
Are you a wizard to see in his head?
No, he was agreeing with you greatly, that if you want to be Ghanaian, renounce and come and be Ghanaian. But for both sides, they believe there's a lot of reason in this, and we'll get good enough materials to come and lead the country. The people are bringing in resources and what have you. That is justification enough to have them come and occupy these sensitive positions.
Yeah, if you're a Ghanaian and you think you've acquired knowledge, and you are also a citizen of another country, I mean, just renounce and come. Renounce your citizenship there and come and serve your country wholly and fully.
Just 1 second. Frimpong Boateng.
Yeah, Professor Frimpong Boateng.
Very renowned, did everything in Germany. Was he a German?
He was Ghanaian.
Okay.
You see, and let me give you a quote here. The 26th President of America, Theodore Roosevelt. And when I finish, I will place, wherever I see America, I will place Ghana there, and you understand what I'm talking about. He says there can be no divided allegiance here. Any man who says he's an American, but something else also, isn't an American at all. We have room for but one flag, the American flag. Now let me insert Ghana where we find America and say there's no divided allegiance here. Any man who says he's a Ghanaian, but something else also, isn't a Ghanaian at all. We have room for but one flag, the Ghanaian flag. You see, we can't allow people with divided allegiance or loyalty to be occupying sensitive positions in this country. It should never be allowed.
But does a second passport means divided loyalty?
You are talking about dual citizenship. Dual citizenship.
Where the loyalty means what? Because that's, I think, at the heart of this conversation is allegiance and loyalty.
There's always the possibility of loyalty conflict. Sovereign loyalty conflict. A Ghanaian who is also a Togolese. Take a situation where a Ghanaian who is also a Togolese, and Ghana has entered into a conflict, whether diplomatic conflict or military conflict with Togo, where will be the person's allegiance?
Would it not be the oath of office they take? They would have taken an oath of office. So an oath which binds them to that office, and they've not taken one.
No, of course you can't be. But how can you say you've taken oath of office of any citizen? Automatically, you have oath of office or allegiance to your
I mean,
nation.
there are duties of a citizen and all of that.
Yeah. So where we have that conflict, we shouldn't allow it to exist at all. Are you getting it? I mean, check. Look, just consider this situation also. That you have an American citizen who is also a Ghanaian citizen, who is a cabinet minister. He sits in a cabinet meeting. They discuss serious national security issues at cabinet meetings, serious economic issues at cabinet meetings. And you think we should allow that thing to happen when the person is a citizen of another country? Don't you think there could be possibility of the person leaking information?
No, you have no, make it more clearer. You have a Ghanaian who is also a citizen of the United States of America and is the Minister for Defense. Or Interior.
Yeah.
And you think that you have security?
No, do you get a point? It's not something that we should entertain at all. Then, as Bernard said, there's also a risk. There's also a risk of somebody running out of the country after serving. Kenofurata is a typical example.
It all boils down to the Kenofurata example.
Yes.
Are we not making a meal out of it?
Meal what?
No, it's a genuine question.
Are you saying that?
Are we using one man as basis to deny or to ban outrightly?
No, we are
talents?
We are talking about a man who doesn't have dual citizenship. If he could do that, now he's seeking to be a citizen of America. He wants to buy it. Can you imagine if you were already somebody with dual citizenship?
Right.
So no. You see, I appreciate the argument that they bring in resources, they invest in this country, they've acquired knowledge outside, they want to come and impart our economy and all that. Yes, if you want to do it, renounce the American citizenship or Togolese citizenship or wherever citizenship and come as a Ghanaian. You see, in fact, if you love your country, be prepared to say, I am a Ghanaian.
Right.
And I have only Ghanaian passport. You don't need an American passport. I have people who have American passport. One is listening to me now. He doesn't even care about it. He doesn't even go to America again.
Fair. Let me come to Matthias.
And Gifi, I just mentioned you here.
Because for the two parties, I think there's a consensus at least because it's cut across. It's cut across, right? So I'll come to Matthias and then I'll come to you, Richard. Matthias, you are hearing the argument in the studio and they say, look, if it's a talent conversation, it doesn't hold. If it's allegiance conversation, you have dual allegiance and all of those come up. Why are the both parties, starting from you, pushing? Because we've heard the president, he's described it as the Jachikwesin bill and said he's been thinking about it, even in opposition, mooted the idea amongst many other things. Why are you insisting on something which considerably across the aisle, a lot of Ghanaians are not happy about?
That you can't generalize.
I said some Ghanaians, so I'll say some Ghanaians. Fair enough, some Ghanaians. Some Ghanaians. Some Ghanaians, right?
At this point, I'm going to speak for myself.
And not for the NDC?
No. I'm going to speak for myself. I do not agree that for some sensitive positions of the state, i.e. President, Vice President, Speaker of Parliament, Chief Justice,
Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police.
Let me say Article 71 office holders. I do not, for any reason, will support the idea that somebody should hold those positions.
Richie, it does appear you'll be alone on this one.
Bearing allegiance to two.
Something is desiring.
Bearing allegiance to two countries. Okay, just imagine somebody with American nationality becoming president of Ghana. Know that America, as a country, their citizens, no matter where you live in the world, you must file taxes back home every year. And you have certain responsibilities to your country. The chances that people holding these dual nationalities could be compromised to take certain steps that will put their country where they are leading in a very bad state, it is real. Look at the Francophone countries surrounding us. One of those privileges France gave them is about the president and their inner circles getting French citizenship, opportunity to buy properties in Paris, and they see themselves as white. So they willingly subjugate their countries to the will of France. That is why they're in this precarious state in which they are, to the extent that you see what's happening in the Sahel. When they dare that they want to fight for their sovereignty, they want to be on their feet. Look at what France is doing, supporting the likes of Ivory Coast to virtually waging war to destabilize the Sahel. That's what happens when you allow people who lead your country to bear allegiance to a metropolitan state that sees you as a colony. So I do not support that at all. See, Kenofurata was willing, somebody who was more like a prime minister of Ghana, somebody who pride himself as a Ghanaian, wear immaculate white dresses throughout the period he was finance minister, mismanaged our economy, sent old men and women to their early graves by haircut and to their pension.
Fair.
Was able to leave this country and was willing to stay in ICE detention center, working hard to secure just residency permit.
Doesn't that speak to a system failure other than a concern as to persons wielding dual citizenship?
Please.
Look, if your systems work, nobody will be having a conversation as to
our constitution should be simple.
and
the current president of Georgia, Salome, before taking office, was obliged to renounce his French citizenship before he can take office. Okay, if at one point in time you believe that being a citizen of America, UK, will open doors of opportunities for you, the Constitution of Ghana,
take it and leave Ghana.
Take it and then leave Ghana. That's when you believe that you want to come back to Ghana and occupy positions of responsibility that we believe that holding dual nationality, bearing allegiance, loyalty to countries at the time will not serve our interests. You are obliged equally to renounce that nationality so you could come and assume the positions here. And we talk about saying that people wanted to contribute. Is it only holding to become president of Ghana that you can contribute to the development of Ghana? You can remain American citizen and come and invest here. The foreign direct investment, the foreigners that invest here, I think they dwarf what nationals of Ghana actually do.
But if you look at a position like the NC boss, for instance, a dual citizen can wield that. That's a sensitive national security position.
National Communications Authority.
Yes.
You are talking about the data of Ghana.
Yes.
You're talking about the data of Ghana.
That doesn't fall within the specifications of persons who are exempted.
If the CIA approach such a person holding American citizenship, the chances that you willingly give out our data to compromise the security of Ghana. Data is security.
Which is the point I'm making, that nothing bars a dual citizen from being NCA director.
Yeah. Then I think
that is a sensitive. That's a sensitive. That's a sensitive position.
The amendment should rather be broadened to include that.
The amendment should be broadened.
Let me have Richard come in.
The amendment should be broadened.
Let me have Richard come in now.
So see, I want us to make it flexible. I do not agree with what has happened to Jachi Kwesi. Like, somebody could be thrown to jail because he couldn't complete the process of renunciation.
That's fair.
Are you getting me?
Right.
We can water down the penalties of sin. Are you getting me? In terms of the constitutional amendment, you can water down sin.
But
so that you don't
amend it completely, you disagree.
You don't send somebody to jail because the state have a responsibility to be sure that this person coming to hold this position has renounced his or her nationality. There should not be reason to send the person to jail.
Let me have Richard. Let me have
Richard.
You
are trying to crawl back of some aspect where you were quite intransigent about it.
It's a person of interest.
Yes, I am, because when I left university, KNUST in 2007, I traveled to the UK. I joined, after my national service actually at Coca-Cola, I joined the British Army with Ghana passport.
Right.
Right.
You joined the British Army with a Ghanaian passport?
Because we are part of the Commonwealth Treaty. Okay. Now, quite interestingly, it is the same Council of State who approved Kojo Choi to become an ambassador of Ghana to the Korea. It is this same Council of State that is today contesting against full-blooded Ghanaians, but largely due to economic reasons, have acquired different passports. Please. I'm just making a point that
it's a Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Please.
It's a full Ghanaian.
Please.
Kojo Choi is a Ghanaian.
It's a Ghanaian.
Please.
It's a Ghanaian.
If you reverse the coin, this same Council of State wouldn't have accepted it. Now, this is not a new phenomenon. It is widely accepted that, number one, due to brain drain, due to economic situations that we find ourselves in, we've had many of our experts in a different specific designation out in diaspora, busting their backside off, and in fact, at a point in our economy, the remittances
was a huge
from
deal.
diaspora was 1/4 in boosting our economy in this country. Just recently, although however disappointing that the Black Stars were, we fielded a team of 11 players to play for us. All of us here were cheering them on. With the 11 players playing and upholding the image and flag of this country, only one was actually born in Ghana and currently holds Ghanaian passport. Sorry?
Jordan holds Ghanaian passport.
He is a dual citizen, a French passport and a Ghanaian passport. Which he was born in France. So the point I'm making is that this is not, yes, it might be a new phenomenon that we need to explore. But I don't think the intransigence position that we are taking is the way forward. Listen, there are some countries in West Africa or Africa in a whole who have seen the contributions of diaspora and have actually paid weight and actually ring-fenced some positions for diaspora. Cape Verde.
The talk is public office.
Cape Verde, Senegal, it starts from somewhere. In Ghana right now, if you are a dual citizen, you cannot even harbor the intent to go and hold for a parliamentary position. With all the contributions, with the expertise, must we, and knowing very well, because we are going to be disingenuous if we are saying that I, for instance, if I acquire a foreign passport, it means that I have no allegiance to Ghana. Knowing very well that 9 out of 10 Ghanaians who are seeking to be citizens of other countries is fundamentally economic-wise. It has nothing to do with security threat or swearing allegiance and looking down on your identity as a Ghanaian. That is false. Those who have acquired citizenship from other states, there's one thing that can never be lost on you, that your passport shows where your identity is, what your identity is. Irrespective of the passport that you hold, it will tell you you were born in Kolebu, Accra. Your parents are both Ghanaians. And so it is once again, I don't want to use the word to offend people, but I think we should be progressive in such.
But you'll agree it's an emotional subject matter, also considering the systems we have in place.
It is all leadership and communication.
Ensure accountability.
Yes.
At the bane is the conversation about accountability.
But there are some, I agree to some extent that certain positions, one must pass some clearance after clearance after clearance. Look, when I joined the British Army, for first 5 years, there were some information that I didn't have clearance to. Those who had clearance to such information must have stayed in that country
but in
for
this
more
case,
than 5 years.
We are speaking to public office. So what can the clearance process be based on the concerns being raised? So the person comes all the way and assumes a high office of president.
Born, and yesterday, just one of my colleagues, a Ghanaian born has been voted to one of the councils in UK.
I mean, we celebrate it from time to time.
Yes, but why are we not celebrating our own in this country?
Where was the Ghanaian born?
I mean, we've seen Ghanaians who are MPs in the UK and all of that.
But he's not a Ghanaian.
Sorry?
Is he a Ghanaian? Is the person a Ghanaian?
I am saying that will that work in this country?
That what?
That a white person born in London come to Ghana. There are a lot of naturalized white people.
Kojo Choi is one of the many examples.
Thank you. I just want to remind
So my point is, if Council of State have seen the benefits or in Kojo Choi, why are they stopping full-blooded Ghanaians from assuming?
We're running out of time to even talk about the Auditor General, because this subject is.
I want to make this point. Unfortunately, wait.
Matthias, let him finish and then let me.
That is wrong. That is wrong.
But you couldn't.
No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't. No, then you have to read it well. They are Ghanaians.
Who still wield Ghanaian passports?
Yes, because before you become even an indefinite leave to remain in that country, you must have maybe 5. I don't know whether the system have changed, but yes, there are Ghanaians who were sent to Sandhurst. But the point is that you must have stayed in Ghana, in the country for 5 years or more to pass some security clearance. There's something I want to say. I think all three colleagues,
just quickly, right?
Yes, about Xenophobia. I mean, I think that now when people are struggling to make a point, they always run to Xenophobia. The point is that Xenophobia is not a citizen of the United States of America. Let's make that point clear. It is not true that he's seeking to be a citizen. He acquired a green card. It's
moving step by step. He wants to get there.
Your position that he has looted money has not been proven by any cause of.
Then he should come to Ghana.
Fair point.
Then he should come to Ghana.
Fair point. All right. The microphones are off. So the Ghana, the Black Stars team, gentlemen, the Black Stars team, 18 out of the 26 are all actually Ghanaians. They hold just Ghanaian passports. 18, and I have the full list. Caleb Urinchi, all of those were born here and then they made their way. But 18, it will mean 8 willed dual citizenship. So that's just.
But majority of them
are Ghanaians, and that's been checked. That's been checked for us.
But they are allowed to play. They are allowed to play.
But that's public.
They are allowed to play.
It's public office. It's public office. I want her to talk about the Auditor General as well, but it doesn't look like
every small thing can
Every small thing. But why did he run away?
Do you have facts?
No, why did he run away?
He didn't run away.
Then you
because of your incompetence. And then you can already proven that he is guilty before and you've
the man has run away. The man said he was going to run away.
Let me hear Ms. Amona quickly and then.
Well, I'm not sure that Xenophobia has suffered any damage that Alfred Wyoming didn't suffer. Alfred Wyoming was proven or was pronounced guilty and virtually sentenced in the mouth of President Akufo-Addo. Yet he stayed and remained in Ghana. Whatever consequences there were, he suffered. And so it is not about how people have spoken about Xenophobia being a thief. It is about how he left this country and has taken steps not to return. And Jemfi,
because of the persecution.
For the record, you are young as I am. And I feel bitter looking into the future. Currently, somebody else is Minister for Finance.
Yes.
Should the person commit the same levels of crime and theft against our nation,
it's
and
not
tomorrow,
been proven, Bernard. You can't use
and
those
tomorrow,
words. Has it been proven?
that person vamooses, sought the residency of another country and is permitted? How long can we continue to tolerate that? And the example and convention would have been established by Xenophobia. So for all of us who are indeed serious patriots and nationalistic in our minds, we should want Xenophobia to come. No one is going to take a gun at his head.
Right.
So clearly, it's not.
That's a fair. Let me hear
That is why we are even afraid to allow Hanan to
how many attacks I suffered.
That is why we are even afraid.
Guns were put on my head for just establishing my rights to demonstrate.
Yes.
Do you know that guns? You monitored.
I covered a lot of the demonstrations.
Guns were put on my head. I stayed in this.
That is why we are even afraid to allow Hanan to go.
Oh yes. I beg you.
Yes.
Those are sub-judice matters. They are in court. Matthias, briefly for me.
So it's okay. It's okay. You see, I think we have every legitimate right.
6 minutes, right? 6 minutes.
Anybody who opposes this dual nationality, using Xenophobia situation as a benchmark, as a basis, is valid to make such analysis, because assuming that Xenophobia had dual nationality, all these challenges about Ghana trying to extradite him will not even have started, because America doesn't even allow the extradition of their citizens. So they
don't do that.
They never will. They never will. As part of their constitution, they never will. Okay? So how do we allow somebody to come and manage our economy, and then after he deliberately ran it aground, in cahoot with others, looted to buy oil blocks in Guyana and other places, then you just get on board the next aircraft on a flimsy excuse. Boom! The moment he gets to the American airspace, he's free forever. It is on those bases Xenophobia has given weapon to those who believe that Article 1 office holders, 71. Such positions are too sensitive to allow somebody holding dual nationality to occupy those offices.
Fair point.
That is why I want to commend the Council of State for asking government to hasten slowly, because we need to discuss these things dispassionately. I understand. I was in a scene of, it pained me to see what the MPP took Honorable Jack Chikwesen through. And I believe that nobody should be sent to prison for holding dual nationality.
Fair enough.
But
we should not allow them.
We should not allow them.
Fair. Because of time, I just want to.
I'm speaking for myself.
I just want to.
But you are not here.
I just want to pick quick thoughts on the Ramaphosa thing, because that we can do quick thoughts, because the Auditor General.
I'm not sure we can do quick talks. First and foremost, President Mahama and his decision to reject Ramaphosa's visit.
Just quick, America can extradite its citizens through legal process, and so that they allow that.
It just rarely happens.
It rarely happens.
America and Russia, but it can, yeah.
But
so I think that on the surface I support it. It's long in coming. I don't know why the High Commissioner of South Africa is still here. We should have expelled him or her.
The South African High Commissioner.
And recall our own. I don't see why the chairman or the head.
But they are still Ghanaians.
Free trade.
They are still Ghanaians.
Can I make my point? I don't know why that guy is still heading African Continental Free Trade in Ghana. He should go back to his country because he's taking jobs meant for Ghanaians. I do not see why Stanbic Bank has not been confiscated by our state and nationalized. I do not see why MTN, majority share from South Africa, including Ramaphosa, has not been confiscated and nationalized. There are many businesses that South Africans run here, and I would want to see more punitive actions. But you know, on a softer one, I think President Mahama and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs rushed. They should have allowed Ramaphosa to come to Ghana.
For security considerations.
No. And see Pepe. He would have seen Pepe. He would have arrived in Ghana and would not be able to come down the tarmac. And that would be the first time President Mahama will see that Ghanaians are determined to resist oppressors' rule. We would have surrounded the airport, make it impossible for Ramaphosa to come out of the airport. He would have stayed at the airport. And President Mahama will wave at him and say, look, yes, I was willing to welcome you by my citizens that I represent.
Say go back.
Say go back. But that would have been most.
That's the reason why they said.
No, so for me, that was too. I let them there to bring him, and they would see the spontaneous reactions of Ghanaians. I'm sure that every vehicle would have gone to park at the airport. President vehicle himself cannot move out. This is what we want to send
to the government of Ramaphosa, who has decided to parade half-naked people on the streets protesting. And when they asked him, are you disappointed in the protest? He said, no, he's not disappointed because it is their right enshrined in their constitution. What are they protesting about? To expel other Africans? You have no idea.
Richard, come through for me, then I'll do quick thoughts.
Sympathize with our Ghanaian diaspora
in South Africa,
having a raw deal in South Africa, and everything that has been happening is quite a diplomatic glitch on especially South Africa, which is really, really disappointing. However, we do not intend to cause a diplomatic war, because you see, my worry, emotions sometimes, if you are driven just solely by emotions, the consequences might be greater than just following your emotions. And at this point,
3FM
what is really needed
92.7
is cool heads, not populism. Now, I say this because I just checked before coming here. We have legally documented Ghanaians in South Africa, averagely between 25 to 50,000. Neglect those who are undocumented. Now, the Foreign Affairs Ministry have managed to bring in 1,002 out of the 50K people. People have been asked to go and report themselves. Fingerprints have been taken in Pretoria, in other jurisdictions.
Richard, wrap up for me, because
what I'm saying is that I think that the best thing would have allowed this man to be here, and then we will speak to him.
Security-wise, it wasn't safe. It wasn't safe. So
I disagree with you. You can diplomatically tell him what you think. And this is what happened when Akufo-Addo spoke his mind to, what's the name of that French Prime Minister?
Macron.
You see that the point is that we are taking rash decisions, neglecting that we have 50,000 people stranded.
Fair point.
We also have some here.
Matthias, quickly for me.
Are we chasing them? Are they on the street?
Are
they chasing? And is that what we want?
Production.
Let's
cool. Matthias, quickly for me, because I'm being given signals that I have
knowing what has happened, and the anger of Ghanaian people, I think that the government has struck the right balance. Okay, we are noted for our mature and principled democracy. Okay, Ghana is noted for our mature and principled democracy. But at the same time, the objective of the foreign ministry of every government is to ensure that the dignity and the protection of every Ghanaian, no matter where they are, is outstanding, and we have to protect and defend that. Okay,
absolutely.
So government has not erred in any way by engaging South Africa through diplomatic channels while raising the issues with the international system. Okay, we don't want to allow Ramaphosa to come to Ghana, and people who are angry will take aim at him. And then
I think
become a
the Minister
problem.
for Government Communication made
Are
that
you getting
point
me?
as
It
well.
will be a problem for Ghana. So Ghana is noted. Ghana's commitment to our international cooperation with South Africa is not affected in any way by this. Okay. Ghana's commitment to our historical connections and a decades-long relationship with South Africa is not affected in any way. We have a problem at hand, and as you can see clearly, we have a very robust and young foreign minister in the person of Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, who is doing everything possible to ensure that every Ghanaian, no matter where they are, whether it's in Ukraine, we will protect them. Okay, and that is what we are doing. Okay, so we have struck the right balance, and nobody. We have struck the right balance, and nobody can accuse the government of overreacting. It is not populist. Okay, our mature and principled democracy.
Let me tell you, the South African president is chiefly coming to Ghana because of the fact that the Go-Fit deal is up for renewal. So he's here for renegotiation and renewal. That deal, Mr. President, that deal, don't ever allow that deal to be renewed.
Thank you.
Never.
So
Never.
My guests in studio have been Ebo Bachman, whose voice you just heard. He's a Deputy Communications Director of the United Party. Richard Jemfi is a member of the NPP's National Communications team. Bernard Mona is leader of the PNC, and Matthias Alogbu speaks for the NDC as well. Happy birthday. Enjoy to the fullest. We will pawn you today, but I'll make way for Christabel Success as well to bring us the very latest in terms of the world of news as well. Here for you on the 3FM Sunrise. So back again, God willing, tomorrow.